did. Then you did.
All right, questions for Coach Bollant. We have our opener on Sunday, 2 o'clock against Evansville.
I just make an initial statement. Obviously, we're excited about Sunday and excited about this community and the buzz for women's basketball. I think we're at 800 season tickets, which is double what we were last year. And now to start real games, we're excited to have the community come out and support this team. I think it's going to be a really fun style of basketball. I think you saw that last night. I don't know how many women's basketball teams are scoring 120 points, but that's pretty exciting for our program and for this community to have some people. We talk about going into battle, and we definitely have some bullets in our gun. We have some weapons that we can use, and obviously we got a long way to go and a lot of learning, and you're never as good as you think you are at times, or you're never as bad as well. And that probably applies to last night. We got a long way to go and lots of things to learn. But our kids are enjoying it, and it's been fun to practice with them. I thought the week between the 2 exhibition games was our best week of practice of the year, and as long as we continue to do that, we'll continue to grow and get better.
How did that happen? Is that you guys cooking?
Yeah, I got to give a lot of credit to Coach DeVille because his drive and his intensity level is so high that one of the things we ask our players, allow us to stretch you. Allow us to, comfort is not the goal of our practices. And allow us to teach you and stretch you and coach you in a way that's going to take you outside of your comfort zone. And, if you ask our players, and I know someone asked Kirsten, you look forward to the games? She said, yeah, they're way easier to practice. And so that's part of the goal. Practice needs to be hard, it needs to be intense, and, we want our players to be ready for battle.
Next team starts Friday. You guys start a couple days later. It's got to be a pretty exciting time for you guys right now.
Yeah, it is. And as a coach, you're always preparing for that kind of the next step. But it is an exciting time of year, and I'm really excited for John and his program to get tipped off. And obviously, 2 new coaches and 2 coaches that are trying to do the right things to establish our programs. So it's kind of a fun time of year, and I know football game Saturday as well. So busy time of year for all the sports, and really fun to be part of it.
How have you changed the current roster to where they weren't doing the same things last year as they're doing already now in the first 2 exhibition games?
Yeah, what style of play, you mean? Kind of? Yeah, our style is different, and I know I read something on ESPN yesterday, well, they're going to bring the Green Bay style. Well, we've kind of adjusted our style a little bit to the current players. I think it's really important that you look at what you have, and what we have is a high degree of athleticism. And so we've gotten rid of our secondary break, and now we're running a numbered break that's really quick and aggressive. We've simplified so much of what we do offensively because Tarkanian said the more you think, the slower your feet. And so we're trying to keep it really simple for these players so that they're not thinking. They can just go out and play and rely on their instincts. And that's what we're trying to do, is put them in positions. And then in practice, you asked about practice earlier, we're making drills that set up where they have to play mentally quick. When you play 2-on-2 full court, if you don't make quick mental transitions, you stand out quickly. And in that drill, it just teaches you have to do that. We do so much full court stuff, so much transition stuff. They have to make quick mental transitions. And that's what the exciting point, and you asked about practice being better. That's been, our mental transitions are getting better. We're physically very gifted, but there's a lot of teams, they were physically gifted last year. That doesn't mean they play that way, or they play mentally quick. And now they're starting to play mentally quick because they're comfortable with what we're doing, and the repetitions really help.
What's it mean for you to have your first game coming up here?
Well, it means I'll be a little more restless. Yeah, I think, the first game is, the first exhibition game is the first game's hard because it's the unknown. That's a hard thing as a coach, is not knowing how your players are going to respond to different situations. Evansville's going to double big on big in the post, something in the exhibition games we didn't see. And so, can Charisma pass out of a double team? Can we get her in situations quick enough where she can score before the other double team gets there? As a coach, you're wondering about those things and trying to prepare. Certainly there's a degree of excitement with that to see where we're at. But as a coach, you want to be prepared, and so that's what I'm spending my free time thinking about is what are we doing to make sure that we're as prepared as possible. And as a coach, I don't think you ever feel prepared for your first game. You always wonder, well, are we ready for this or that? And I think most coaches, if they were honest with you, would tell you, we're excited for it, but we don't feel necessarily totally ready.
Did you learn anything or see anything for your team that you saw when they finally faced opposition instead of just scrimmaging against each other?
Yeah, I think just being under lights is things to see, and one of the things we don't look as good in practice as we have now. Obviously, exhibition basketball is very relative, and the two teams we played aren't as good as the teams we're going to play. But in practice, you know, I said yesterday, Sarah Hartwell, who's a transfer from Georgia Tech, and Adrian Godbold, they're two of the best practice kids in the whole country. There's nobody that's practicing against quicker, more athletic, better players than those two. And, you know, they can't play this first semester, and so, like, we do a 4-on-4 shell. We put those two out there, and then we put two really quick guys out there to guard. Well, there's anybody we play all year that's going to be better than those four. When those four are driving the ball and kicking it and getting to the rim, it's really hard to guard. And if we can guard, we can look decent against those four. Now we add a fifth player to that, all of a sudden, boy, defense got a lot easier. And that's been probably the most exciting, is getting the exhibition, is seeing how quick and athletic we look, because we don't always see that in practice because of who we're going against. Our practice integrity is really good.
Coach, I asked you this before, but what are your thoughts on Gino Oriema's comments about lowering the rims in women's basketball?
Yeah, I'm not for it. I don't know that our game needs a lot of fixing, honestly. You know, I think that people enjoy the game. The one thing I would agree with is that we need to be thinking about ways to make it better. We need to think about ways to add more scoring, make the game faster, you know, so that we can continue to draw more fans. Because it's a very competitive market. You know, I think women's basketball has been fairly stagnant for 10 years, you know, where the attendance figures have been. In some programs like ours, you know, 10 years ago they were drawing 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 fans a game, and they went all the way down to drawing, you know, average 1,000 last year. So I do think we need to be thinking about and always working on making our game better, making it more exciting to the fans and to the people. But I don't agree with that. How would you go into all the parks, all the junior highs, all the middle schools, grade schools? How do you change all that? They don't have a budget to lower it. It's not like it's a volleyball net. You can just set it 7 inches lower. You know, to me, that's a much more challenge. So I don't agree with that. I do agree with the fact that we need to be thinking about changes and how we grow our game, but I don't think that's the right change.
Do you have any ideas personally on how to make the game more exciting?
Yeah, I think maybe the lower shot clock might be good. You know, I think always just changing rules so that put things to put the offense at an advantage. Obviously, we play really aggressive defense, so I don't like a ton of fouls called. But probably, you know, calling a little tighter might make it a little more high scoring. But the way we play defense, I like to let them play because we're so aggressive defensively. So I wouldn't be for that, even though it might be a better thing for scoring and for the game. I know when I grew up watching Dick Bennett's team when they played Michigan State in the Final Four and the halftime score was 22-18, people were in an uproar that spring and summer because Dick's teams are so physical and so aggressive that they didn't like it, and so they made some changes to how they called and how they ref because of that. Well, I'm probably more defensively of the Dick Bennett system that, hey, let us play, let us be physical, let us be aggressive. And I don't like when they start calling touch me not when they won't let us play. I don't like that as a coach.
How do you think the players develop with that new aggression, that new up-tempo style?
Yeah, I think they like it, honestly. I think they're enjoying it. I mean, what kid's not going to like scoring 120 points? You know, last night we had, 6 kids in double figures, or 7 kids in double figures, 7 kids in double figures. To me, that's great balance, that's great unity. They're getting a lot of shots. We probably shot more threes than, you know, in that game because of the sagging defense, but it's a really fun style to play. I know we had a recruit from Wisconsin come, and afterwards she was just, you know, totally smiling, so excited, like, gosh, it'd be so much fun to play in that system. And I do think it's really going to help us in recruiting. I mean, what high school kid doesn't want to play fast and play aggressively and score a lot of points?
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks.